Hey guys, welcome to the shop, and it's a special day. I want to reveal to you the machine that I got, and I'm really excited about it. I first want to thank the guy that I got it from, Sandy. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate you dealing with me. And wish I could have spent more time up there, but I told everybody it was a long trip, 7 hours in one direction. So, it was daylight till dark. I woke up late and I didn't get to do a lot of filming. I actually overslept by 2 hours. I was supposed to get up at 4 in the morning, or I was supposed to get up at 3 in the morning, and I actually ended up getting up at 5:20, so my alarm didn't go off. So it was quite a rush, so I didn't get to do a lot of filming as far as the trip and stuff. I did get a few clips of the road. I went through the Smoky Mountains, and I thought that was pretty neat, but I didn't get to do a lot of filming on the trip. I didn't have a lot of time. It was a really hectic and busy event. So all you guys that probably made some guesses in your head as to what I got, you're probably wrong. That's what I would guess, and I think you're going to be surprised. It's a neat little machine. It's not very big, but I think it will really add some versatility to the shop. So enough stalling, and let me show you what I got. Well, here it is. It is a K.O. Lee Universal Cutter Grinder. This is the small version, the knockout version. It's a model BA860. And I've done very little with this machine. I've pretty much just pulled it in here. I did clean off the table. I'll put in a picture of what it actually looked like when I got it. And I don't have much invested in this machine. I got a lot of neat stuff with it. Almost every accessory that this machine could have, I got, other than a couple items. So I'm really excited about that, and I'm going to show you all that stuff in just a second. But overall, looking at this machine, it looks to be in really good condition. It of course has been used. It's probably much older than me, but I don't think it was a production piece of equipment at all. This machine will allow, small surface grinding, although it's not a surface grinder. It is a universal cutter grinder. You can grind high-speed steel, tool bits for the lathe and shaper, which I'm really excited about. That's really the main reason I wanted this machine, so I can grind and test custom cutters. You can grind end mills. I actually got an end mill sharpening unit with this. You can grind basically anything. Now, this machine has several functions, and almost everything on it articulates or moves in some fashion. The top of the table swivels, and I'll show you that too. The table moves, of course, back and forth and right to left. The head moves up and down. The cutter head swivels. The base swivels. The whole column moves up and down. It's really a neat machine and has a lot of functions. So it'll be a nightmare to set up, but I think that with a little learning, because I've never done any grinding, but I have a feeling that I'll be able to handle it. So pretty much this is uncharted territory for me, and probably a lot of you guys. I mean, most people don't run one of these. I don't know anybody who has one or anyone who's ever run one. So I'm pretty excited about it. This machine has some really neat features. I'm going to bring in and show you some of those in just a second. I'm going to show you all my accessories that I got with it. And I also want to show a couple pieces of viewer mail that I got that are really interesting. So I'm going to bring in and show you a few of these functions. Alright, so this is kind of not going to be my normal format of video. It's going to be kind of quick, so I'm not going to do any crazy editing. But this here is a spin fixture. Now it holds C5 collets and has the tightener and stuff in it. It's motorized. So you can do OD grinding with this. It has, about dropped it. It has also a dog driver attachment, so you can do some OD grinding. This is the high-speed spindle version, I believe, which will allow us to do ID grinding with small wheels because it runs really fast. So this will drive a dog. You know, you can spin something. I have the center, the other center for this that mounts on the table. So we can do short OD grinding, ID grinding, small surface grinding. I also got a nice little, it's really dirty. That's about what the whole machine looked like. I've just basically wiped it off and razor bladed the table off. I haven't done a lot to this machine. I haven't really checked it for accuracy. But everything that I've seen so far tells me that this machine's set far more than it got used. The ways and stuff I've looked up under it, they look really, really good on this machine. I mean, I can't hardly tell there's any wear on them. So, but I'm sure we'll find some things that are bad. But as of now, it looks pretty good. So I got a little magnetic chuck, which I thought was really cute. It'll be neat and will allow us to do small parts. So that's pretty crusty looking, but it'll clean up just fine. Most of your magnetic chucks from old grinders look about like that or worse. So I'm pretty happy with what I got. Now, this machine, like I said, the table articulates on it. Let me set this off of it. Almost everything that this machine comes with, or came with, looks to be barely used. Anywhere where, you know, like the tailstock and all the little attachments, none of the places where you would clamp or bolt them down look like they've ever had a bolt in them. So I'm pretty excited about that. This pulley still has all the paint, the original paint, inside the V-groove, so that shows you probably how much that's actually been used. Now, you can loosen this. And this table actually pivots. I think it's 15 degrees in each direction is what it's actually graduated to. And it's graduated over here in degrees or, what is that? Taper per inch, or taper in inches, probably inches per foot. That would be my guess. So it's a really neat unit. The table moves in and out and moves pretty smooth, but it really needs cleaned up. It's got a lot of old oil and stuff that's gummed it up. Because the gentleman I got this from, super nice guy, he bought it and really never used it. And he had mentioned he bought it from a gentleman that passed away, or from the widow. And I assume this machine was bought and, you know, rarely used. But it does need a lot of work. It's far from being, in my opinion, in usable condition. I'm going to have to go over really everything on it and just clean it up. It needs rewired. I mean, look at that. You know, can't be using stuff like that. But none of that stuff's a big deal. I don't mind getting a machine like that. All that stuff can be easily repaired. Now this is the 220 volt 3-phase, so I'll have to run a converter with it, which is not a problem because I have a couple converters. I did spin the spindle by hand, the main high-speed spindle, and it feels really good. Now the motor is a little noisy on this thing. I don't know if the bearings are just dry or if it needs you know, bearings in it. Motor bearings are not a big deal, but spindle bearings for this would be a nightmare. Not only would they be expensive, they would be, you know, they'd be hard to install because this is you know, precision bearings in this that are precisely preloaded and lubed and for a lifetime and all that stuff. So I'm glad to find out that this spindle feels good. You know, I've never ran it, so I don't know. Got all the guards, the belt guards and stuff for it, and all I've done really is wipe it off, you know, clean the table like I said, and I'll put in a picture of what it looked like. So that's the machine. I really think that it's going to be pretty neat, and I'm really excited to get to use it. So let me show you some of the stuff that it come with. All right. Now, here's some of the items, the majority of the items that it come with. I'll show you the end mill sharpener in just a second. Now, some of this stuff I don't even know what it is, but I'll learn. It comes with the belt covers, several fingers for sharpening end mills, and I'll show you a little more about what this does in just a second. Some standoffs, I guess, or finger holders. This finger holder is spring-loaded and has a micrometer head on it. So some really neat stuff. Here's the little tailstock. It's just dirty. It's a spring-loaded tailstock. Come with all the pulleys for changing your speeds of your spindle, all the belts, some diamond dressers. This is what I believe is a little wheel radius dresser. And then I got another radius dresser, which looks to be shop made, but it's dirty. But I think it's in really good shape, and whoever made it, I think, done a pretty good job on it. So we got 2 radius dressers. I don't know what this is. Some of you guys may know, and if you do, chime in and tell me, because I don't know what this thing is. But it has a couple articulating positions and some inserts. I got another one up on the table. All of the things in that little box there are arbors for all the grinding wheels that it come with, and it come with a really good assortment of grinding wheels. Most of them have the labels on them, some of them don't, so it's going to be a little tough to figure out what some of them are, but maybe some of you guys that have more experience than me can chime in. So belt covers, let me show you the end mill sharpening attachment, or the flute sharpening attachment that I got for it. That's a pretty neat item, so let's go up and look at that. Alright, let me show you a couple things I got sent to me. Now, Randy Richards sent me one of his little medallions. Randy Richards in the shop. If you're not familiar with him, check his channel out. I love watching Randy. He seems like such a nice guy. He sent me one of his scribes, little carbide scribes, and this one happens to be brass, and it's inscribed Randy Richards in the shop. This one happens to be serial number 18,014, USA, and then he engraved my name on it, which I thought was really neat. Now the scribe nests inside of itself, so you could keep it in your pocket. And it just turns around, and it's a carbide scribe. At least that's what it feels. It's got a lot of heft to it, and it's really well made. So go check Randy's channel out. I mean, he sells these, and it just supports what he does. It's hard for the YouTube guys. Most of them don't make hardly nothing, and they work really hard. And if you want a scribe, if you don't want to build one, go get one from Randy. He's a really nice guy. I enjoy watching his stuff. And he works pretty hard on his videos. So that's one thing. So thank you, Randy. I really appreciate it. I'll have to stick that up on my sticker board. Neat little inscribed medallion. And then Tom from Hilltop Machine Works. He sent me, of course, his card, and he sent me his sticker. He sent me a neat little Starrett RPM gauge, the old manual type. And I've used this, and it works really well. It come in the original box, and he went all digital, so he didn't need this anymore, so he sent it to me, and I really appreciate it. It come with the original instructions, so how often do you see that? In the box with the original instructions. Now, I use this on my lathe, because my lathe has had a motor change and it's had a pulley change, and I was really surprised at how off the nameplate, that tells you the RPM supposedly for your either any gear selection. It was way off. My top spindle speed says it's 540 something RPM. Well, it's actually running 800 RPM. So, this actually let me know that, so I really appreciate it, and that's going to be a really neat addition to the shop. And he also sent me a piece of high-speed steel in the original box, which got the old tabs on the box. I always love these old boxes. There's really some quality in this old stuff, and that's something you don't see these days. It's just that reinforcement of the box. A good piece of Momax 7/8. I don't know if you can read that, but Momax Cobalt 7/8, big nice piece. So that's a super nice cutter that I'll probably never grind just because I like it so much. But He also sent me a 1/2 inch and a 3/8 high helix drills that he wanted me to try out. Good for deep holes and chip clearance. So thanks a lot, Tom. Tom's got a YouTube channel, Hilltop Machine Works, and I watch him also. He's a pretty good guy. He does all kinds of little projects and stuff, and he's got a super nice shop, so check Tom out. All right. Another thing that I got with the grinder, and this old Tony showed one of these on his channel quite a while ago, and I believe it's for sharpening. It holds C5 collets. I believe it's for sharpening the ends of end mills, and it's got the built-in angles that come in a little wooden box. So I'm not exactly for sure what this is, so if any of you guys know, chime in the comments and tell me. I think that this is for grinding tool steel, because it's got some angles built in already, and I think you just clamp it in, but I'm not for sure, and I believe that's what this is, for grinding reliefs. But I've been super busy, guys, and I apologize. I haven't had a lot of time to respond to any of the comments in my last video. It's just been crazy around here. So I'm just trying to get out videos for you guys and stuff as quick as I can. So I apologize for anybody who's contacted me and hasn't got a reply. Let me show you the sharpening fixture for the flutes of end mills. I think that's really cool, and I think you'll like it. All right, now this unit is still in the box. It's in a nice wooden box, and just like everything on this grinder, it looks like it's been used maybe once or twice, and it's got the old paperwork with it. Some of these, I've seen these people use them before, not necessarily this model. I've seen people use the air spindle version. Now this is not the it doesn't. Some of these had a floating air bearing that this spindle here rides on, and that was just to keep a smooth movement. And it come with a couple different spindles, all of which are still wrapped and stored in their original grease that come in that come on them. So this unit is basically new. Let me get you in a little tighter and show you how this thing works. Alright, well, here's the unit, and this little handle here tilts the top of this unit. This spindle holds your fluted end mill, and these are just fingers that index on the end mill and allow you to sweep. It's not adjusted, so and you just pull this back. Well, you assume your grinding wheel is here, and you have the unit tilted back away from the grinding wheel. You move your cutter up. Now, I've never used one of these. This is just from seeing people use similar items on YouTube, sharpening end mills. And you rotate this into the grinding wheel. It tilts up, touches the grinding wheel. Then these fingers time it, and you drag it back, and it sharpens the flutes of end mills. Let me get you around, get you a little different angle. All right, you can see this little finger here. So you would just, if this was adjusted proper, your grinding wheel would be here, grinding on that flute, and then you drag it back, and it just keeps that flute in time with the grinding wheel and allows you to sharpen it. Then you just click over to the next. All the whole time you're either tilting into the wheel or away from the wheel. You tilt away from the wheel, reposition, tilt it into the wheel, and then drag your cutter back. Now this is going to require a pretty accurate setup to get a good job on this, and this will probably take a lot of learning to get any good results on. So, but that's what it is. It's got a little micrometer head. I don't know if you can't see it. Let me get you down here. Little micrometer head for adjusting, how tall this finger is. So, pretty neat little unit, and I don't know how much we'll use it. Probably as much as the last guy used it, but we'll try it anyway. So that's another thing that it come with. Pretty neat. Well, guys, I think that's about it for this little video. I really appreciate you guys watching. I think this is going to be a real neat addition to the shop. I'm going to have to come up with some sort of, dust evacuation. I'm not really crazy about grinding in here with all my other equipment, but we'll see. This machine's small. It doesn't take up much space. I'm definitely in the market for a real surface grinder. But this thing come up and I couldn't pass it up for what I would have invested in it. So I'm glad to get it, and I'm really glad to find out so far that everything looks pretty good. So hopefully Saturday we can get another video out. I'm not going to promise anything, but if I do, it'll probably be cleaning up this thing more and just some general maintenance on it. So thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. If you haven't, make sure to subscribe to the channel by clicking on my little guy up here and hit the bell for notifications. And as always, I'll see you next time.